Good evening, and welcome to Season 3 of Shhh Productions Vintage Radio Hour. Our collaboration, now grown to almost 90 fantastic performers and technicians from across the country, revisits the legacy of audio entertainment that harkens back to the golden days of radio to bring you a Halloween-themed collection of 12 shows filled with laughs, suspense, fear, and maybe a little murder. This evening's broadcast of Shhh Productions' Frankenstein and Dracula is coming to you live from the delightfully spooktacular tasting room of Dutch Creek Winery, located in the beautiful countryside of Athens, Ohio. Take a scenic trip through the hills of southeastern Ohio and stop in to enjoy their amazing artisanal small batch meads, ciders, and fruit wines, the best Athens has to offer. Spend a relaxing afternoon in their newly enclosed patio, a warm place to relax and enjoy your wine selections away from the autumn winds. We suggest trying the warm mulled winter spice, or embrace the sunny days by having a fall outing in the large picnic grove. And don't forget, holiday shopping season is right around the corner, and Dutch Creek Winery honey wines make a perfect gift for friends and family. We also ship. Check our website, DutchCreekWinery.com, for more details. Dutch Creek Winery is located at 12157 State Route 690, just 8 miles outside Athens, Ohio. Visit our website at DutchCreekWinery.com or our Facebook or Instagram pages for more information about our events and current offerings. And now back to our feature presentation. The first show of our Halloween week doubleheader, Frankenstein, adapted from the work by Mary Shelley and originally airing in 1944, features Tony Roseboro, Richard Mason, Vinnie Mason, Chiquita Mullins Lee, and Christopher Austin in the timeless cautionary tale about man's relentless search for the power of creation and all of the reasons why that's a bad, bad idea. Stay tuned after the show for the second part of our doubleheader, a special 1-hour presentation of the ultimate in Halloween horror fare, Dracula, starting at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Now, shh.
Howling outside my lonely home is my only companion. All else is quiet here as I sit by my window in the parlor, writing this document for the scientific world. Be warned, you doctors and scientists who come after me. Be warned that the man must not experiment with the secrets of life. My experiences started in the University of Manchester, where I was studying natural history. It was after class, May 22nd, 1818, that Professor Waldman, my close dear friend Henry Clavel, and myself were in the laboratory of the university.
Victor Frankenstein, your persistence amazes me. Someday I shall sit at your feet and allow you to teach me.
Thank you, Professor Waldman, but the whole subject of the structure of man has always been too clouded in mysticism.
Well, frankly, Victor, I prefer mysticism.
That's because you're a mystic, Henry.
Why, Henry's no more a mystic than I am. He just loves to avoid arduous work.
Oh, translating that means I'm lazy, eh, Professor?
Well, if you prefer to put it that way, I'd rather think of you as a student whose nervous structure does not take kindly to natural history.
The professor's kinder to you than you are to yourself, Henry.
Well, if I work as hard as you do, Victor, I should probably wear the same gaunt, sleepless look that you carry about.
Well, my experiment will be finished tonight, and then I'll manage the 8-hour sleep that other men manage.
The secret experiment that will be finished tonight, huh?
Well, then, you will tell us exactly just what you're doing in the basement at home.
I'll tell the entire world. As a matter of fact, I stayed after class tonight, Professor Waldman, to ask you to join me this evening in the basement of our place to watch the completion of my work.
Well, how about me?
I don't think I dare invite more than one, Henry. And the professor's more interested in this type of procedure than you are.
I shall be delighted, Victor.
Just the best friend who never knows what's going on in his own home. That's all.
It's not that, Henry, but I thought you'd entertain Elizabeth for me while the professor and I were at work.
Entertaining Elizabeth will be a delightful favor, old boy. You know, I do think you trust me too much with her. Have you ever met Victor's fiancée, Professor Waldman? She is one of the most charming, delightful.
Yes, Elizabeth was one of the most charming, beautiful women I'd ever known. I had been in love with her from childhood. But even my love for Elizabeth couldn't dim my passionate zeal for the work I was doing. It was 8 o'clock that evening. Henry, Elizabeth, and I were seated in the parlor. Elizabeth was saying,
I'll be so glad, Victor, darling, when all this is over. If you only knew how tired you look.
the minute my work is done, successfully or unsuccessfully, I promise you, Elizabeth, we'll be married and off to Switzerland before Henry has time to lock up this place.
But first, we find out about the secret in the basement.
Henry's being eaten up by curiosity.
I don't blame him. I'm suffering from pangs of what's it all about, too.
Well, you'll both know soon. I wonder where Professor Waldman is. He's late.
He'll be here soon, Victor. Stop pacing the floor, sweetheart.
I think I'll start my work downstairs. Send the professor down when he arrives, will you, darling?
We'll come down ourselves and take a look around. Or will I turn into a pillar of salt for peeking?
Nobody ever turned into a pillar of salt for peeking, Beth. It was for looking back.
Oh, nothing like a good practical working knowledge of the Bible for scientific experiments. Starts the night off right.
Yes, I thought jokingly of that paragraph in the Bible then. And she was turned into a pillar of salt. But what about man who looks back? There's no ready reference for him or for me. I went downstairs to my laboratory at a little past 8, opened the door and started to tinker around to pass the time more quickly. My every sense was alive, taut, waiting, of the sense of what was to come. I heard a knock on the side door which led me from my laboratory directly to the forest which bordered Manchester. I looked out and...
Good evening, Victor.
Oh, did Elizabeth tell you to come down this way, Professor?
No, I found the entrance to your laboratory quite by myself.
May I help you with your coat, sir?
No. You proceed with your work. Nothing like trivialities to annoy a scientist at work. There we are.
Follow me, Professor, in the back room, and you'll see for yourself what this is all about.
Well, I feel that I'm in for a most exhilarating evening. I wish I had more students fashioned in your mold, Victor.
Well, Professor, here is my latest...
Why? What's this? A full-size replica of a man?
Yes, only he isn't full-sized. He's fashioned on a grander scale. I should say this creature, standing up, would be approximately 8 feet 2 inches tall.
Well, you should have been an artist, Victor. He's a perfect reproduction. What did you make him out of? Wood? Clay?
Animal flesh.
Flesh?
Feel him.
Oh, he feels like the body of a dead man.
or the body of a man who hasn't as yet been brought to life. This body is complete in every detail: heart, lungs, teeth, even the fine nervous system.
Interesting, yes. Interesting. How about the brain cells?
Yes, adult brain cells. I think he's quite handsome, don't you?
Well, each man to his own taste. He's the best reproduction of a man I've ever seen. But actually, his face is hideous. As a plastic surgeon, my dear Victor, I can't give you much credit. Well, what do you intend to do with this Holt?
You see this fluid here in this test tube?
Yes.
I feel the hypodermic needle with it. And now I'm going to inject the full 8 ounces into the vein, directly above his heart.
But why?
Why? Watch. You see, Professor, quite by accident, I stumbled on the secret of life. I've been bringing small one-celled creatures to life for quite some time.
The secret of life?
Within 30 seconds after this injection, this creature will live.
You're trying to play God, Victor. It's heresy.
It's science. I'm making a new race by far finer than the present one. Larger in structure, stronger, heavier, healthier. A race able to live on nuts and berries, with a greater capacity for feeling.
Victor, for the love of heaven, don't go through with this experiment. No man living has the right to tamper with the secret of life. You've created a monster on that floor. You've no idea what will happen if you go through with this.
Watch, Professor. The injection.
I only hope and pray this is a failure.
It can't be. His eyes moved. Watch him, Professor. He's like a baby. First realizing life. His hands touch the floor. His eyes are trying to focus on the world around him.
He's hideous!
Yes, he is hideous. I made the skin too much like parchment, I'm afraid.
Victor, get rid of that monster.
He's trying to stand up.
If that mind you created is a twisted one, have you any idea what kind of horror you've let loose on England? As a humanitarian, I feel it's my Christian duty to do this now.
Put that knife down, Professor.
I can't let. Oh! Oh! He's got me in the clutch of his hands. Demand him to stop, Victor!
Stop fighting him, Professor. He's frightened. He has the same reactions as a child who grabs and won't let loose.
Let me go, monster! Oh!
Stop! Don't go out that door!
Oh! Oh!
Put the professor down! Don't go out that door! The monster left my laboratory through the side entrance into the forest, carrying the incredibly mangled body of the professor with him. I rushed out of my laboratory after him, but the creature was faster than I, and he disappeared from view. I returned to my laboratory and destroyed all evidence of the creature's manufacture. I burned the blueprints from which I had made his body. Then carefully, I locked my laboratory and went upstairs to join Henry Clavel and Elizabeth. I must have looked wild-eyed as I entered the room.
Oh, Henry, that's most amusing. You tell the best anecdotes in all of England.
Oh, you flatter me, Elizabeth.
Oh, Victor, you're through sooner than we expected. Darling, what's the matter?
Didn't the professor show up?
Nothing's the matter. My experiment was a failure.
Oh.
But the professor.
He never showed up. Beth? Henry, I want to go away.
Of course, darling, we will. As soon as Henry can get the house locked up, we'll...
I don't want to wait. I want to leave at once, tonight. Please, tonight, Beth. We can get married before we cross the channel and then go to Switzerland.
But it's almost midnight now, darling.
What's the difference? Please, Beth, if you love me.
But why tonight, Victor?
Henry, you've no idea what I've been through. I have to get away at once.
Of course, darling, if you insist. Anything you want.
And we'll be married before daylight. Darling, darling Beth. I know a little minister whom we can awaken. And so Beth and I were married that evening in a little chapel on the coast. Then the three of us fled to Bern, Switzerland. I refused to have anything to do with the civilized world. No newspapers, no word of home, just the peace and quiet of the Swiss mountains. Henry and Elizabeth both tried to learn of the events that occurred in my laboratory that evening, but I never broke my silence on that subject. After the first tries, they refrained from asking me about it again. It was in the middle of the 4th month of our visit when Henry and I were sitting on the terrace of the little house in the mountains. Beth was out picking berries when Henry suddenly...
Victor, I'm your closest friend. I tried to keep silent about it. Well, Victor, the day after we left England, I bought a newspaper.
Did you, Henry?
Yes. I saw this clipping on the front page. I couldn't very well miss it.
What clipping?
This one. The horribly mangled remains of Professor Waldman were found on Beckman Hill. The identity of the unknown murderer is still being sought by Scotland Yard.
Poor Professor Waldman. I had no idea.
Hadn't you?
No. What are you trying to say to me, Henry?
You're leaving England so suddenly that very night. Your fear of being discovered, the secret experiment. Well, it all seemed to add up to some kind of strange connection with this clipping. Now, if you're in trouble, Victor, you can depend on me. I'll stay by your side.
I'm not in trouble. I'm just tired, terribly tired.
And you know nothing of the professor?
Absolutely nothing.
He didn't come to our chateau that evening.
I told you he didn't then. Stop questioning me.
Victor! Victor!
We're out here, Beth.
Oh, I just had a horrible experience. Oh, darling, I'm so glad to see you.
You look pale, Beth. Sit down right here next to me.
What happened, Beth?
Well, I was walking in the woods, not far from here. Well, I looked up and saw, I saw a man, sort of a man, standing over me.
Well, men aren't so bad. That is, if you happen to know the right ones. And you do.
I'm not joshing Henry. He wasn't exactly a man. He was twice the height of anyone I've ever seen. And his skin looked like dry parchment. It's incredible, but I think I've seen a monster.
Monster?
Yes. I ran away. He didn't follow me. He just stared after me, watching me. You do believe me, don't you?
A monster stared after you?
Look, Henry, Victor, through the woods, right out there. Look, there he is again.
Yes, the monster stood there, silhouetted against the trees. The monster which I had created, standing like an evil blot of flesh and bone, moved in the darkening twilight, and then suddenly, phantom-like, disappeared. Beth and Henry both watched me as I darted from the piazza after the disappearing creature in the backwoods. As I drew near to the heavily wooded section, giant footprints in the soft mud about me showed the path ahead. The sun was sinking in the west, and the last orange pinpoints of light needled my flesh until every sense within me was tingling with the expectations of seeing my living horror. Then I realized I was unarmed. Every crooked tree, each twisted branch which obstructed my path appeared to be his form. I heard the crackling of a branch and the movement of form on the velvet moss.
I thought you'd come, Creator.
You!
Are you frightened, Creator?
You dare talk to me?
Please don't turn away from me. Please.
Let me go!
I mean no harm to you. Listen to me. Victor Frankenstein. You must listen to me. You created me. You owe me that much.
I owe you nothing, murderer.
Why am I a murderer? Because you created a form so horrible, a face so distorted, that no man can look upon me and call me friend. I'm an outcast. You can save me.
Let me go!
Not until you hear my story. Sit down, Creator.
My arm! Let me go!
I wandered through the streets of London that first day. Children screamed in the streets. People flocked together, trying to kill me, and I was lonely and hungry.
How did you follow me here?
Not so long ago, I returned to my birthplace, the laboratory. I broke in and discovered your identity. First, I fled to Scotland and lived outside of a cottage. That's how I learned how to speak. An old blind man was teaching a young French girl to speak English. I listened to the lessons from the open windows.
Now what do you expect of me?
A companion, a woman of the same species with my defects, one who will be my friend. This being you must create.
No! I'll not do it.
You must. Every man's entitled to a wife.
No!
You must. If you create her for me, I'll take her with me into the far wastes, and no one will see either of us again. Ever.
How will you live?
On fruits and berries we'll manage together. Please. You can't deny me this.
A mate. A monster's mate.
You will? You will. I swear I'll never harm another human. Never, Creator. If only you'll grant me just one companion.
And if I refuse?
If you refuse, even a brain that you have made, Creator, might become twisted and distorted.
And so that night in the forest, I made a devil's bargain. I bargained to create a monster's mate, perhaps another murderer. How could I know? The monster swore to live in the forest and wait a year or 2 years if necessary. And upon completion of my work, he would take his companion away. But if I broke my promise, he swore revenge. And so I started work. I searched Paris for the necessary equipment, built a shack in the woods about a mile away from our chalet. 3 months I worked, 3 solid months, shaping her who was to be his mate. Then it was windy outside. I thought the wind had blown the door open when...
Victor, I'm sorry I had to disturb you.
Is it Beth?
No, not Beth. She's fine and sends her love. It's the townspeople. Your activities have stirred up a lot of curiosity.
Oh, the fools.
Well, I can't blame them, especially after the rumors which have been going around. Rumors that, Victor, you know of the monster in these forests. You've known of him all along. People have seen him and connect him with you. Mothers in the village are frightened for their children.
I know nothing.
Look, I'm only trying to help you.
I know nothing, I tell you.
But the men have banded together. They're gonna make a raid on you here to burn your laboratory down and to find the monster who lives in these woods.
They can't. They mustn't.
What devil's work are you carrying on, man? I'm trying to help you. Oh, Victor, will you please let your friends be your friends?
Henry, will you go back to Beth and leave me alone?
Beth is safe at home. You're in danger, and I won't leave your side this night, my friend.
Then be prepared.
Prepared for what?
You've guessed many of the reasons for my secrecy.
Then there is a monster.
At school, I stumbled on the secret of life. I was trying to create a superior race. I was a fool and I created him instead.
Then he does live?
Yes, he lives.
Professor Waldman. What happened to Professor Waldman?
The night I created the monster, Waldman became frightened. He screamed, attempted to kill the creature. The creature, like a child, warded him off and then tore him to pieces in front of me. I couldn't stop him. The monster had killed before it had really begun to live.
Then what?
The monster left the basement through the side entrance, carrying the professor's corpse. I had no choice. I had to leave the country.
Then what are you doing with that creature now?
Fulfilling a promise. Follow me into my cabin and I'll show you. How soon do you think the townsfolk will be here?
Oh, within 2 hours or so. They're meeting in the square in town.
Come in.
What? A woman?
Yes, a woman. The monster's mate. His friend. I promised him a friend, and in return he promises to hide himself forever from the world.
A devil's bargain, Victor.
A bargain I must keep for all our sakes.
But the monster proved himself a murderer time and time again. Why, in London, after the death of Professor Waldman.
Time and time again.
But how do you know the mate won't be even more vicious than he? You'll let loose an avalanche of hatred. Oh, destroy her before you bring her to life.
Yes, avalanche of hatred.
Look, no time to waste. Set fire to this cabin quickly, Victor. Set fire to the cabin and come away. But man alive, you cannot go through with this thing.
But the promise.
It's a promise to a fiend. He'll be your death and ours, Victor. Oh, hurry, man, hurry if you have any love for Beth.
I've been insane with grief and fear for Beth and you. Go back to Beth, Henry. Go back to her at once and wait for me.
And you?
I'll set fire to the cabin as soon as I destroy my books. I'll join you later.
Well, hurry, friend. We'll meet you at home as soon as you can make it.
For 1 full hour, I worked feverishly. I soaked the shack in oil. Then taking a taper from the vase, I lit the fire. The fire started quickly. I placed my books in the very center of the room and then opened the door of my shack. The experiment was at an end, and I felt free. The monster's mate would never live. I walked out, and then I saw him, his face contorted with rage.
My wife! Oh, my only chance to have a friend. My only chance.
I knew then what was in his mind as he raced through the forest in front of me. The blazing shack was a beacon of light, and I saw his huge, misshapen form far outdistance me. He was faster than I, taller than I, and covered more territory. Racing, running blindly through the forest, I reached my home. The door was flung open. Henry, mutilated and torn, stumbled blindly toward me.
Victor. The monster.
Henry, what?
I tried, Victor. I tried.
Henry, you got to... Henry!
Beth. Alone. Alone with...
Beth?
Upstairs.
Beth! Beth, I'm coming, darling. I'm coming upstairs.
Doctor! Help me! Somebody help me! Help me!
I'm coming, darling. I'm coming. If you kill her out. Beth! Beth, oh my darling. My darling. Oh, Beth, no. No. Both you and Henry. Both dead.
You two are alone. Creator.
Yes. Both of them were dead. All my dear ones gone from me now. And I'm alone. The wind howling outside my window is my only companion. All else is quiet as I sit by my window writing this document. I'm dying of loneliness and fear. Shunned by the world, hated by everyone. I know I am waiting for the monster's return. And he, having eluded the world, will return when I've suffered my full share of misery, as he has suffered his.
Thank you to our wonderful performers, our brilliant production manager, Tori Perdue, our prolific composer, Chris Sanchez, the team at Platinum TDM, our fantastic hosts, Paul and Cindy Friedman at Dutch Creek Winery, and to you, our audience. We hope you enjoyed the show. Stay tuned for the second half of our doubleheader, Dracula. What better way to celebrate the Halloween season than with a little deadly necking? That special one-hour episode is coming up at 9 o'clock. And we have another doubleheader next week, so tune back in and shh.
let's do a quick mic check, please. I'm just gonna go down the line. Let's do Caroline. Caroline, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Great. Okay, go ahead and say a few lines.
Okay. Johnny, Johnny, my arms hunger for you.
All right, great. Then you can go ahead and mute, and then let's go to David.
This then is your patient, doctor? To awaken the boy is no need. Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Thank you.
All right. After that, let's do Ella. Do we have Ella with us today?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Then can you go ahead and say a line or two?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, not at my part. Okay. Here, shall I come more closely? Now do you see me?
Great, thank you. All right, and then Emmy.
Yours is the right to begin. Go ahead.
Great. Hannah.
This scarf hardly seems enough. I'll borrow a coat?
Then let's go Mark.
We have just received intelligence that another child was missed last night.
Great.
Good evening. Good evening and welcome to Season 3 of Shhh Productions Vintage Radio Hour. Our collaboration, now grown to almost 90 fantastic performers and technicians from across the country, revisits the legacy of audio entertainment that harkens back to the golden days of radio to bring you a Halloween-themed collection of 12 shows filled with laughs, suspense, fear, and maybe a little murder. We are coming to you live from Dutch Creek Winery in Athens, Ohio. The upcoming show, Dracula, adapted by George Salverson from the novel by Bram Stoker and originally airing in 1949, is a special 1-hour presentation of the classic tale of love, lust, and lots of blood, featuring Ben Gorman from Minnesota in the title role, along with 14 actors from Virginia, Ohio, Mississippi, and California. Cautionary note, there is gunfire in this production. And there will be a 5-minute intermission during which you can grab the Band-Aids and a quick trip to the little vampire's room. Now, shh.
When the spirit dies, but the dead live, the dark god of the night is a beast. This is the journal of Jonathan Harker. Should any read, convey its warning to those who will believe and act, and convey it to those who mourn me, for I have written my last word. Pennsylvania, May the 4th, 1897. A day of strange, wild journey to carry me on my mission. Is travel among these motionless mountains in long sleeping castles always pursued so recklessly? Our Slovak driver lashing his horses, the coach for Bukovina rocking and bouncing, the passengers crying for more speed.
More quickly, the sun sinks.
Ha! Ha! Crying for more speed as darkness is near, and watching me with eyes that are somehow troubled.
Obviously, you are the Englishman.
The Englishman? Yes, I am English.
And boisterous. When we took the coach, there was much attention on the Englishman.
But why, madam, is it so remarkable to be English?
I do not know why, but I can tell you that this wild country, the ancient battleground of Bulgars and Turk, is not only a melting pot of races. It is a melting pot of all the world's superstitions. And it is sometimes remarkable what an Englishman will do.
There's nothing remarkable in what I am doing. I represent a completely respectable firm of London solicitors. I am here to perform a service for a client.
And who is this client?
Count Dracula.
Oh, driver, more quickly.
Am I to fly, then?
Must we travel through these potholes as though the devil were after us?
Tradition would have it. These roads should be never repaired, lest the Turk consider it a warlike action.
Herr Englishman, is it the eve of St. George's Day? Is it?
Yes, of course.
Do you not know? Do you not know at midnight all evil in the world of its fate? Do you know where you go, Englishman? Englishman!
I do not understand you, sir.
Our friend has had his say. You, sir, are from London, and I am from Prague. I fear we find these people amusing.
They seem to be afraid of me. I don't know why. The Count will have his carriage meet the coach at the entrance of Borgo Pass. Then I leave you to perform certain services to the Count of Castle Dracula.
Driver!
I know.
I cannot understand this bone-shattering speed.
Perhaps our fellow passengers fear the dark. Or perhaps the devil is after us.
Darkness. The feel of the mountains hiding in. A long, hard climb toward Borgo Pass. The horses walking and my bones aching. Campfires near the road. A Romani camp. I'm going to walk a piece.
What are you doing?
I'm going to walk while the hill has slowed us down to a reasonable pace.
I forbid it. I am responsible. I forbid you to leave the coach. The wolves are savage here.
The Romani don't seem afraid.
I forbid it.
Very well.
Stranger passes in the night. He believes only what he sees. Will he see what he cannot believe?
There is the road. There goes Borgo Pass. You see, there is for you no carriage.
The arrangements were very precise.
The Air Englishman is not expected after all. Stay with us to Bukovina. Please come. Let's wait no longer.
We came at such a speed. I am sure that he will be here.
You are early tonight, coachman.
The Herr Englishman was in a hurry.
That is why, I suppose, you wished him to go to Bukovina.
That is a strange-looking fellow. When he smiles, those sharp white teeth.
Oh, that Englishman, if you must do this, take this crucifix. For your mother's sake, wear it. And God go with you.
The coach, frightened passengers, swept into the darkness on its way to Bukovina, leaving me with the stranger who had so suddenly materialized. Without a word, he motioned me into a carriage which stood silent in the shadows. As we drove upward through the pass, the cry of the wolves followed us until midnight found us in the courtyard of a vast, ruined castle from whose tall black windows came no ray of light. The silent coachman set me down, drove away, left me in the darkness before the massive iron door, and there I waited. Waited and waited until...
Welcome to my house. Enter freely and of your own will.
Count Dracula?
I am Dracula, and I bid you welcome, Mr. Harker.
Oh, yes, thank you. The door is very effective.
It once frustrated a Turkish army.
Oh, well, it wouldn't do to lose the key, would it?
Come, sir. It is late, and my servants are not available. Let me see to your comfort myself.
His servants? I wondered if the servants existed as I followed along the passage, up a great winding stair and down the stone floor of another endless passage.
You will, I trust, excuse me that I do not join you at supper, but I have dined already.
I quite understand. Even in here, the sound of the wolves.
Listen to them, the children of the night. What music they make.
Music?
Ah, sir, you dwellers in the city cannot enter into the feelings of the hunter.
Dracula smiled. The firelight leaped and fled about the ancient room from the bright red lips, the sharp white pointed teeth. I dropped my eyes to his hands. The nails were long and pointed. I remembered as he greeted me how strong they were and how cold. I became aware of something else. I pushed my food away. My God, his breath!
Now, tell me of London and the house which you have procured for me.
Yes, well, it's in a suburb, Purfleet, and is called Carfax. It contains in all some 20 acres, heavily treed, surrounded by a solid stone wall. There are very few other houses close at hand, one being a large mansion now used as a private lunatic asylum.
And the house, Carfax?
Much as you requested. Very large, of medieval times, including an ancient stone keep attached to an old chapel.
Good. I myself am of an old family. To live in a new house would kill me.
I understand, but really, sir, Carfax is little better than a disused dungeon.
I belong to the past, a past of brave races who fought as a lion fights for lordship. The Huns, whose fury swept the earth till the dying peoples thought the werewolves themselves had come, that in their veins ran the blood of those old witches who, expelled from Scythia, mated with the devils in the desert. Fools! What devil or what witch was ever so great as Attila, whose blood is in these veins? But you will forgive me. I have kept you until morning, and you are tired.
May the 12th. Many days here, and somewhat amused at my first emotions, for the Count is an interesting, if unusual, person. He seems to be away all day, but through the night he has questioned me closely about England, about banking and shipping procedures, and has obtained the names of various solicitors who might assist him in his proposed move. Tonight, for the first time, the Count has not appeared. The yellow moonlight almost dims the lamp by which I write. How strange. A London solicitor by this window which overlooks a 1,000-foot cliff in this room of ancient beauty, alone. Alone? Yes, for there are no servants here. This must once have been the room of a great and beautiful lady. I almost imagine I hear...
Darling.
Who's there?
Our most desirable guest.
Where are you?
Here. Shall I come more closely? Now, do you see me?
Yes.
I want you to see me. It is lonely here.
Oh, I cannot imagine you could be lonely.
But I am. You are so young, strong, handsome.
Forgive me, I seem unable to get up.
Perhaps you are sleeping, dreaming.
Yes, I must be.
Yes, dreaming of love, perhaps.
A dream, a vision from some forgotten age.
One dreams of love, one longs for love.
Yes. No, I have a love.
What is she called, your love?
Mina! Mina!
Mina? Shall I come nearer?
Yes.
Has she hair like this, your love?
Yellow, like the moonlight.
Would you like to touch?
Yes.
Then I lean over you, so touch it if you like.
I can't.
Has she eyes like these, your love?
So dark, almost rubies.
Has she lips like these?
Rich red.
And her smile, my love.
The whitest teeth, the sharpest.
Would you like me to kiss you?
Yes.
Then I will. Let me show you love you never dreamed. First, my lips to your throat. My sisters.
Beautiful.
Are my sisters impatient?
Go on. Yours is the right to begin.
He is young and strong. There are kisses for us all.
Yes, kisses for us all.
How dare you touch him? How dare you when I have forbidden? Beware how you meddle.
You yourself never loved. You never loved.
Yes, I too can love. When I am done with him, you shall kiss him at your will. Now go. I must awaken him, for there is work to be done.
Have we tried nothing for tonight?
Yes.
I have awakened in my room a sweet horror in my heart, some grim desire I dare not confess to myself. Why do I remember tales of the vampires who sink their sharp white teeth daintily and drink?
Thieves! Thieves! Thieves!
Woman in the courtyard!
Thieves! Monsters! Give me back my child!
A child? My God!
My child! My child! Give me back my child!
A wolf! An animal! Why does it sound like Dracula?
Go back to your graves!
What is she saying? The wolves! They cry, and the wolves are coming out of the forest. I must get out there. I must help her.
You have her blood. Now give me my baby.
My door locked. My God, he rules the wolves.
Give me my child. My child.
My door is opened again, and though I've tried all day, there is no escape from this part of the castle. No way but the windows and the cliff. At nightfall, heartsick, I was shaving using the mirror from my traveling case.
Well, my young friend, Mr. Harker.
I did not see you behind me. I cut myself.
Blood. Blood on your face.
What are you doing?
Blood on your face.
Your hands! Take away your hands! My throat!
What is this you wear on your breast?
What? A gift, a crucifix.
This mirror is the wretched thing that has done this mischief. Foul vanity! Away with it! Our business will be completed tonight, Mr. Harker. Tomorrow, I go to England. If you care to listen at the window, you may hear when the mirror strikes the stones below. You may.
He smiled with his sharp white teeth. What manner of being is this who, in a mirror, has no reflection? The scaly in the courtyard. The Romani, if I could reach them, I might be saved. There is one door I haven't tried, the door to his quarters, Dracula's. Open the door for God's sake! I hear you in there. You know I'm here. You know I was in there with that. Aren't you living men? Romani, will you leave me with the dead? Where are you? Go back to your graves. No use. The Romani are leaving. Taking him. Write it. Night coming. Write it. Someone may read and find him. May the 30th. My last entry in this journal. I have sought every way of escape. There is none but the windows of these quarters which overhang the terrible cliff. I entered the colt's rooms. The door led me to a deep stairwell, down to a ruined chapel, down to dark vaults of dusty coffins. No way out. Oh, then there was the smell. Old earth, newly turned. And boxes, large boxes like coffins, half filled with the earth. 50 of them, I counted them, with earth new dug from the graveyard floor. Now I know where he spends his daylight. Now I know what he is. For in the last box I found him. Dracula in the coffin, alive or dead, I could not tell. But the red, burning eyes opened, fastening on me. His youth seemed anew. The cheeks fuller, the white skin ruby red underneath, the mouth redder than ever, the flesh swollen, and from the corners of the mouth trickling over the chin and neck, gouts of fresh blood. He lay like a filthy leech, exhausted with his repletion. This was the being I was helping to transfer to London with its teeming millions. I seized a shovel left by the Romani. I raised it to strike at that hateful face, and it turned as the eyes blazed hatred at me. My limbs weakened. The shovel fell, gashing the forehead, and I fled. When I heard the Romani in the vault removing the dreadful boxes, I tried to return. They locked me out. Locked me in. I know they work. They're in his pay, filling his coffins, transporting them to the sea, where the work I have done will bring the vampire who breeds vampires to my home. What am I to become with those others waiting? Romani are leaving. I am alone with the living dead who by day return to the earth of their own graves, and night is coming. I will choose the cliff. My beloved Mina, I will never see you again. May the 30th, the last entry, on the last day of Jonathan Harker. The precipice is steep, but God's mercy is better than that of those monsters.
This then is your little patient, Doctor?
Yes, Dr. Van Helsing, but asleep. Asleep, Dr. Van Helsing. Quite a simple case, Dr. Van Helsing.
Oh, to awaken the boy is no need.
No, certainly. He was found on Hampstead Heath just this past September 29th. Quite a simple case, Dr. Van Helsing.
His color, it is good.
Nourishment, Dr. Van Helsing, nourishment. A simple case, really. Hardly justifies a journey all the way from Amsterdam by such a noted philosopher and scientist, Dr. Van Helsing.
I've read of this, and the other children in your papers. When found, he was so white, so bloodless.
Quite so. A simple case.
Now, please, to remove the bandage from the throat.
Yes, as you wish. There, you see? The two tiny wounds. A simple case, Dr. Van Helsing.
Oh, please, what is it that is so simple?
Malnutrition and anemia, sir. The parents deny it. Nonsense, Dr. Van Helsing.
And this lady, so beautiful, of the newspaper stories?
Oh, that, sir. The beautiful lady who lures away the little ones in the night. Journalistic tommy rot, sir.
The wounds, for them, how do you account?
Scratches, Dr. Van Helsing, scratches. Your interest flatters me, sir, but I cannot account for the honor.
Oh, Dr. Vincent, there is so much for which we cannot account. In August, I have come to London to fight such an illness as this. It was of a fine young friend of mine, the dearly beloved fiancée, a most sweet lady. He, my young friend, is a doctor as well. You may know him. Dr. Seward?
Dr. John Seward? Yes. A student of mental disorders. I believe he has a private asylum at Burfleet.
The same.
And what was the outcome of the case, sir?
With our knowledge, our science, we were babies. She died.
A pity. The cause?
The cause? That I should wish to know.
Anemia, Dr. Van Helsing?
Her blood, it was as rich as her youth. She died, somehow, of losing her blood.
When did she start this weeping, Miss Wales?
August 13th it was, Dr. Seward.
How are you so sure?
Well, it was the night old Renfield gave up his pets and turned so violent, Mike.
How do you remember that?
Why, it was the first night that your... poor Miss Lucy.
Yes. How is Renfield tonight?
Still quiet, with his pets, as he's been since the what? The funeral, sir.
What?
Dr. Seward, sir, haven't you...
What is it, Swales?
Old Renfield, he's been asking to see you, but I didn't like to disturb you, what with all your troubles.
By all means, I'll see him, any of them. What else have I now?
Well, if it were me, I'd be finding my consolation by the pint. The pity you've nothing but loonies.
Open the door, I'll call if I need you.
Yes, sir.
Well, Mr. Renfield, you wish to see me?
Yes. Yes, indeed, Doctor. I have the temerity to beg your indulgence. A very great favor, Doctor.
Should I be permitted to guess? Your little colony of sparrows has exhausted your supply of string to maintain their faithfulness to their master?
Oh, no, sir, no. You misapprehend the significance of my future projects.
Then how may I help you, Mr. Renfield?
A kitten, sir.
A kitten? That would be rather irregular, Mr. Renfield. I gave you sugar to catch your flies. What became of your friendly little flies?
Oh, they flew away.
Then you somehow collected a handsome family of spiders. Did they fly away?
Possibly.
Now, by some skill of your own, you've enticed this goodly collection of sparrows. Do you tire of them by chance?
A harsh accusation, Doctor. A harsh accusation.
And now you ask for a kitten. Mr. Renfield, when is this going to end?
A kitten? A nice little sleek, playful kitten that I can play with and teach and feed and feed.
I'm afraid I'll have to think it over.
Begging your pardon, Dr. Seward, but the old gentleman from Amsterdam is asking for you.
Dr. Van Helsing?
That's him, sir.
Van Helsing in England? Why?
A kitten, sir. A kitten to play with and feed.
Ah, my so loyal young friend. How is it with you?
As well as can be expected.
Oh, such a terrible thing that does not quickly forget.
What brings you to England?
This.
Westminster Gazette. Have you turned journalist?
No, my friend. Read here.
The Hampstead Horror. Really, Van Helsing.
Read.
We have just received intelligence that another child was missed last night. It was only discovered late in the morning under a furze bush at the Shooter's Hill side of Hampstead Heath. The child was terribly weak and quite emaciated. When partially restored, it told the now familiar story of being lured away by the beautiful lady. Doctors noted the same tiny wounds in the throat.
Ah, well, what do you think of that?
It's like Lucy's.
Ah, and what do you make of it?
Make of it? Make of it? How should I make anything of it? If I could make anything of it, Lucy would still be alive.
Oh, you mean to tell me, friend John, that you have no suspicion as to what poor Lucy died of?
If we go on discussing what she died of, she died.
Oh, my poor friend.
I beg your pardon. She died of nervous prostration, following on great loss or waste of blood.
Ah, and the blood. How lost or wasted?
Hadn't we maddened ourselves enough trying to solve that fantastic riddle?
You are right. Night after night, a loss of blood, and the throat wounds. It could not have been lost thus, for where then was the blood, eh? Nowhere.
No, nowhere. Oh, can't we forget it?
You're clever, friend John, but you do not let your eyes see that which is outside your daily life. Can you tell me, for example, why in the pampas there are bats which come at night and open the veins of the cattle and suck them dry?
Good God, you mean to tell me that Lucy was bitten by a bat?
No, friend John. What I know is this. Our knowledge, our science, left us like a baby before this terrible thing. So for these past months, I have had to resort to mythology, to the dark, whispered memories of humankind. This only supplies the answer, and points the way to a grim battle, which you and I must fight.
I fail to understand you.
First, I must give you proof. Proof! Tonight, you must come with me.
All right, but where?
To the tomb.
Tomb? Tomb? What tomb?
Lucy's.
Lucy's?
Dr. Seward, sir. Mr. Renfield. He's turned violent again.
Van Helsing?
Friend John, I throw my reputation, my reason upon your mercy. Let me give you proof.
Please, sir, he's broken out and he's in a dangerous mood.
What? Oh, yes, I'm coming.
Friend John, you know me.
Yes.
Ah.
Dr. Seward.
I'm coming.
This way, Dr. Seward. By the gate to Old Carfax.
I hear that. What's he started?
Took after two men coming out with a carrier's cart.
I don't understand this.
What manner of disorder is it, this poor man?
I call him a zoophagus, an eater of life.
Eater of life?
Many flies to a spider, many spiders to a sparrow. He eats the sparrows.
Oh.
The attendants are having difficulty, sir.
I see the carter's men help from a great distance.
He banged the carter's men up something wicked, sir.
Please!
Hold his legs there!
Do you think I'm practicing the minuet?
Murderers!
That's it, hold him!
Robbers!
Mr. Renfield! Mr. Renfield!
They shan't rob me! They shan't rob me! I'll fight for my lord and master.
There's nothing to be done with him. Put the straitjacket on him.
Lord and master? Did you not say he eats life?
It's beyond me, Professor. Only once before has he had a lord and master. Otherwise, flies. You are the men the patient attacked?
Oh, attacked, is it? Murder is the word. There'll be actions and damages over this, I can tell you.
Well, now, surely two strong carters like yourselves are in no great danger from a feeble, sick man.
Well, not rightly speaking, Doctor, but then them boxes as we was removing from Carfax full of earth, it's no lightweight. And if it wasn't for our strength being spent on them, we'd make short work of him.
Well, I'm sure it's thirsty work, and perhaps...
Thank you kindly, sir. We do sympathise with you and the poor gentleman, sir.
They've got him, Doctor.
Ah! My lord, my master, will you desert me? All over. No hope unless I do it myself.
Get him into his cell.
And now the sun sets. You will come with me as you promised?
Yes, yes. Why is Renfield suddenly so quiet? What's he staring at?
Nothing I can see, sir. But that there bat flying away into the sun.
This evening's broadcast of Shhh Productions' Frankenstein and Dracula is coming to you live from the delightfully spooktacular tasting room of Dutch Creek Winery, located in the beautiful countryside of Athens, Ohio. Take a scenic road trip through the hills of southeastern Ohio and stop in to enjoy their amazing artisanal small batch meads, ciders, and fruit wines, the best Athens has to offer. Or embrace the sunny days by having a fall outing in the large picnic grove. And don't forget that holiday shopping season is right around the corner, and Dutch Creek Winery honey wines make a perfect gift for friends and family. We also ship. Check our website, DutchCreekWinery.com, for more details. Dutch Creek Winery is located at 12157 State Route 690, just 8 miles outside Athens, Ohio. Visit our website at DutchCreekWinery.com or our Facebook or Instagram pages for more information on our events and current offerings. We will now take a brief intermission. And now, back to our feature presentation.
Van Helsing, we come into the graveyard like ghouls by night. I don't even know why.
John boy, all your life you have honored me. Now,
Well, there's her tomb then. My God. My Lucy.
Come.
You can't open the door.
The door will open. You see? Come.
Oh, no. No, I can't. I want to remember her just as she was. No.
You are a doctor. You must know why she died. Even more so, you may be revenged.
Revenged?
Come.
How will you open the coffin?
The coffin will open.
Wait, don't!
You must see!
Do you want to put me in a straitjacket beside Renfield?
You must see!
My God, man, there's Lucy in there, don't you?
Is it? Is it?
Gone. She's gone. What have you done with her?
Trust me, please. I will show you. It is near dawn. We cannot have much longer now to wait.
It's only that I spend my life with the mad that has kept me from leaving you hours ago with your gravestones.
You will see.
That last night, when only your treatment was to fill her room with garlic flowers. Great heavens, garlic flowers! I knew you were going mad.
And her mother, dear soul, she came and she removed the garlic flowers. My first suspicion, my last attempt to save you, Lucy. Her mother, she thinks the flowers by night not good. Ah!
You say dawn. I'll give you till dawn because I hope to save the mind that has meant so much to me. But when dawn comes...
Look!
A woman. In a nightdress.
You see? She is carrying with her a sleeping child.
What is she doing to it?
This is the proof. Carefully observe. Her lips to the throat.
Lucy. It's Lucy. She's alive. Lucy! No. I couldn't find her anywhere. She vanished.
Oh, you wait by the door. She must come. The child is all right. You saw?
Yes.
Ah.
But Lucy's alive! Alive!
No, Lucy, she is dead. Only lives the body.
Johnny!
Here she comes.
Johnny!
Lucy.
Only observe. Is it Lucy?
Yes. Beautiful. Alive. Even more beautiful.
Notice the blood-red lips. The teeth have altered. Somehow they always protrude, the eye teeth, and the eyes red.
She was drinking that child's...
Johnny, my arms are hungry for you.
Oh, Lucy.
Come, and we can rest together.
Slowly, Lucy. Ah, this you do not like.
My face!
Ah, this you cannot pass. Return to your tomb. The sun, it comes.
Her face.
See? She goes into her grave.
Her face. Twisted and hideous.
Friend John, there is much here that you and I, as men of science, never have believed. Tonight, this crucifix has been our salvation.
My God, there was blood on her mouth.
Begging your pardon, Dr. Seward.
Yes, what is this, Wells?
There's a lady here to see you, sir. She says her name
I don't know her, never heard of her. I'm busy.
Well, I'm sorry, sir, but the lady was most insistent.
I tell you, I can't see her. Tell her to go away. Get out of here.
Yes, sir.
All right, Van Helsing, you've proved everything. Now what?
To me, too, it is so difficult to believe what we have seen. There are the living dead.
Vampires.
So fails us our science. To go upon, we have only tradition.
Superstition.
There is among us a vampire who works this evil. He does not sting and die, the vampire. He becomes more strong. He is of cunning more than mortal, for his cunning is the growth of ages through which he does not die. He is a brute, and he may command the brute, the rat, the owl, the bat, the wolf. His love is living, and his food is their blood. When his prey die, they too become the living dead, the vampire.
Yes, Lucy. And how does tradition tell us we can deal with this? Tell me, and I'll do it.
Good, I will tell you. I will show you. The gravediggers have gone. We are unobserved. Close the door.
The tomb of the Westenra family. If they knew...
What's that? Give me the bag.
If these others who sleep here knew the purpose to which their tomb is being put, if they knew that one of their loved ones...
We have yet to do what must be done. Set up the lantern there on that coffin so we may see to work.
To work? Yes.
And here, ready, the garlic flowers.
What was that?
A dog.
What are you laughing at, Van Helsing?
I was thinking of my friend in his Holland greenhouse who sent me these flowers. Strange medicine.
What for?
When we are done, we lay them in the grave to make intolerable the grave to the vampire, who must ever by day return to it.
So Lucy may never be at rest?
Ah, you forget. Then she will not be vampire. Open the coffin. Open the coffin. We must bring to her peace.
Yes. Oh, a strange, terrifying beauty. Is this really Lucy? Are those the lips I kissed?
'Tis and it is not. Do not think. You are still willing?
Yes. No one else has the right or the duty. I'm ready.
Then, in the bag, you will find what you need.
Yes.
The mallet, the pointed wooden stake. Ah.
Very methodical.
Yeah, don't think, just do. Take them.
Yes, the stake, where?
The heart. The heart.
The heart?
Yeah, through the heart, right through, and she will have peace. Now, take up the mallet.
The mallet, yes.
Yeah, remember, her career has just begun. Those children, they are not yet so much the worse. If she live on, undead, by her power over them, they come to her. They become as her. But if she die in truth, then all cease. The tiny wounds from the throat disappear. The children play, not knowing of this. And the soul of the poor lady whom we love shall be free.
Yes, yes.
And perhaps she will know it is his hand that feed her, the hand of him that loved her best. Now, let it be done. Eternal rest give to her, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon her.
Oh, dear God, I can't.
Do it! Will you leave her in torment? The just shall be an everlasting remembrance. She shall not fear the evil herein. Absolve, O Lord, the souls of all the faithful departed from every bond of sin, and by the help of thy grace, let her be found worthy to escape the sentence of vengeance, and to enjoy the full beatitude of the light eternal.
Master, I await you, Lord and Master. I am here to serve you, Lord Master. Remember me.
Now then, what's all this, Mr. Renfield? Why not play with your little sparrows and give us a rest?
I've eaten them. Oh, they're nothing to me. Let me, if you will, sir, enjoy a moment of Dr. Seward's inestimable company.
The doctor's sick today, and if you ask me, I don't blame him. Shame on you, Mr. Renfield. All those nice, pleasant little sparrows, so chipper and friendly.
Ah, madam, I am honored indeed.
Now what?
What incomparable elegance. What gentle, dainty charm.
Why, thank you, Mr. Renfield. I do my best to keep up appearances.
I refer, infinite rogue, to the lady behind you.
Oh, her ladies are always following me about.
Are you Dr. Seward?
Oh, bless me.
It's you again.
Yes, it's me again. And the doctor can't see you. How did you get in?
I walked in, and I must see Dr. Seward. It's about my husband, his mind, some disorder. It haunts me, it terrifies me. You must let me see him.
Rogue, would you let a lady weep?
All right. I'll ask him again, Mum.
John, friend John, you are feeling better, perhaps? Possibly you should to your bed return. Another sedative?
No.
There is so little we do. I have learned the first time when he enters a house, he must receive invitation. But he's cunning. We must trace each detail in the case of poor Lucy. What do you watch so intently?
Nothing. Go on.
Each moment of her life, from the moment of the first sign, the paleness, the dreams, the throat wounds, this you must trace and study for some clue. What do you do with the pistol, friend John?
This!
Friend John, what is this?
In the window, with his black ugly wings spread out, there was a bat.
A bat?
Dr. Seward, are you all right, sir?
Quite all right, thank you, Swales. I just shot a bat.
Dr. Seward?
Swales, who is this young lady?
I'm sorry, sir. I heard the shot. She would follow me.
Dr. Seward, I believe it is not considered quite fashionable to point at a gentlewoman with a pistol.
What? Oh, your pardon. What is it you want?
Dr. Seward, it's about my husband, and your reputation has brought me to you.
What about your husband?
He's perfectly sane, and he insists he's insane.
Well, that's refreshing. The world is full of people perfectly insane, insisting they're sane.
Please, Dr. Seward, it's really driving us both out of our minds. He had some terrible experience he won't speak of. He was ill a long time, and now... Oh, you must help us, Dr. Seward. Prove to him he isn't unbalanced. Dr. Seward, please.
What's your name?
Mrs. Harker. Mrs. Jonathan Harker.
I didn't mind the train down to Purfleet, but the carriage, the sound of those wheels, the horses, hoofs.
Oh, Jonathan, darling, we'll be there in a minute.
Unbearable! Unbearable!
Oh, darling, please. Dr. Seward will help you, you'll see. But you'll have to let him have that sealed journal.
Yes, I know you're right, Mina. We have to settle this, and the journal is part of it.
Oh, Jonathan, now that you're facing this, everything will be all right.
You're lovely, Mina. So good to me. So patient.
No, darling, I'm not. I love you, that's all.
Even as I am, tormented with the certainty of...
No, darling, sweetheart. There's nothing certain about it, except that you've been ill and you'll be better. And there's nothing wrong with your mind. Do you think I could love and marry someone whose mind... What is it?
Do you hear it?
What?
You must hear it. Tell me, Mina, that you hear it too.
Jonathan, what? Do you mean the music?
Yes. I meant the music.
It's only a Romani camp out there by the road.
A Romani camp? Take me to your doctor of madmen. Lock me up. Dr. Seward, you read it. I haven't even allowed Mina here to see it. All those experiences, they're real to me. Everything so real. Well?
Well, Doctor?
Oh, Lord. I see myself hanging above the ghastly abyss, climbing, none of it possible, but the brain fever in the Budapest hospital. I know it happened. Therefore, I must have a madness in me.
Doctor, please, say something.
Van Helsing!
Doctor?
Van Helsing! Swales, you rascal!
Yes, Doctor, what is it?
Van Helsing, get him in here, now, this instant. Hurry! What are you standing there for?
Love me, yes. Yes, indeed, at once.
For the love of heaven, Doctor!
No use, Mina.
Now listen, you two are moving into my quarters here. You, Mr. Harker, are going to tell me everything you know about this Count Dracula. Every contact you gave him, every solicitor's name, every small detail you can rip up from your memory.
Is that to be part of the treatment?
Treatment? Ha! Jonathan Harker, you're as sane as I, or the great Van Helsing himself. We need you, Jonathan Harker. We're going to war.
War?
Yes, war on Dracula. Mr. Renfield, you've made yourself very difficult with your insistence when I am exceedingly busy. What do you wish? Sugar for flies?
Dr. Seward, I am in full possession of my faculties. I must beg of you to release me.
Well, if that is true, in time, Mr. Renfield.
No, sir, now. This request is not of first consequence to myself, but to health, the welfare, the very lives of others.
Why do you wish to leave, Mr. Renfield? What reasons?
If I tell you that, it will convince you only of my undoubted madness. What can I say?
You have answered for me, Mr. Renfield. Perhaps I can serve you in some other fashion.
What can I say? You will, I trust, Dr. Seward, do me the justice to bear in mind later on what I did to convince you tonight.
And now, gentlemen, and dear lady, of whom we have become so fond.
Thank you, Dr. Van Helsing.
Now, we are ready to begin to act. But we deal with one who has survived many centuries, and, we must assume, many attacks. We must not fail.
We won't.
He drove me to madness. He won't do that again to any other.
I'm cold.
Mina is not well today.
Oh, it has been a strain for such a gentle one.
This scarf hardly seems enough. I'll borrow a coat.
Take mine, of course.
We know that in life he was a brilliant man, a descendant of Attila the Hun. We know, too, from our studies, he must be the Count Dracula who did his army abandon to the Turkish slaughter, and did homeward flee to raise a new force and try again.
And we know from Jonathan that he's at Carfax. Carfax, next door.
That is our move the next. Is he there? We will see.
be careful. Last night, I dreamed.
Let him be careful now.
27, 28, 29, 30. There were 50.
Ah, so these then are the boxes. The coffins with the earth of his own grave. The vampire's lair. And each coffin a lair.
Did you hear something?
No.
It preys upon my nerves, this ruined old house, the dark shadows, the stone walls, the coffins. It's Castle Dracula again.
It is well to be cautious. Our enemy not only has a magic cunning, he has the strength of 20 men. And whereas our windpipes are of the common kind, we cannot hurt him as he can hurt us. He is dead.
Van Helsing, we've seen those boxes before.
Yes, friend John. An uncommon vampire is Dracula. So wily as to provide himself somewhere in London with 20 ways of escape and of hiding, besides this old house, his headquarters. It's our friend Jonathan here, who must show us how to trace them through the solicitors, the shippers and carters who unknowingly transported these terrible things.
Renfield! Renfield attacked those carters.
Renfield? Yes. Yes. Lord and Master was his cry.
Renfield knows something about this. We've got to see him.
I thought I saw a face.
Where?
There, in the shadows, the highlights of his face, the high ridge of the nose, the red lips, the red eyes, the awful color.
There's nothing there.
Listen. Rats!
Dr. Seward! Dr. Seward!
What's that?
Well,
thousands of rats! Look, they are coming!
It's him! He's sending them!
Dr. Seward, it's Mr. Renfield. Someone tried to murder him.
Someone tried to murder Renfield.
Dracula sends his rats?
Great heavens! I see a million wicked eyes! Run! Run for your lives!
This is how I found him, Doctor. Just a few minutes back, as I was coming round to light the lamps. The window bars torn open, the door flung into the corridor, and the poor old loony was just...
Jacket. Take off the jacket.
There is no jacket, Mr. Renfield.
Devil, smashed about like that.
We must arouse him. He must talk.
Brandy.
Swales, brandy in my office.
Brandy.
Mr. Renfield, tell us.
The dogs howled, and the bats came. And in the mist, he stood at the window. As before, his eyes were fierce like a man's when mad. He laughed with his red mouth. The white teeth glinted in the moonlight. I was angry. Before he sent the flies, the great fat ones with steel and sapphire on their wings. Our lives, all red blood with years of life in it. All these lives and more will I give you through countless ages if you fall down and worship me. I invited him in. Come in, Lord and Master. Enter. He laughs. He is in my room. And then I know it is next to be the young lady of charm. I am a madman, and have me now a madman's strength. Yes, Lord and Master, I will give you that. I give you that. Oh, Lord!
Renfield! Renfield, He's dead. There's no doubt how.
I tried to get the brandy. The poor old loony. He was a decent sort in his way.
Friend John.
Yes.
What did he say? It is next to be the young lady of charm.
Mrs. Harker.
Ah.
Mina! Oh, heaven! Mina!
Your skin is like the snow, your throat as soft as the quivering rabbit.
Cold. I'm frozen with ice.
I have kissed you, and I will kiss you again. I will come again and kiss again.
Cold. Cold.
Shall we warm your dream, beautiful one? You too will kiss. Place your lips, your pale lips, to my throat. They will be rich again. Your blood will be my blood. My blood will be your blood. You will know in your blood that I will come again, and you will seek me forever.
Dracula! Shoot him down!
Fools!
Shoot him! Shoot him!
I shoot, but he doesn't die.
I have the weapon he fears.
Be careful, he'll try something.
Oh, no. You fear it, is it not? You who live in eternal death. You fear this cross, the sign of eternal life.
You think to baffle me? You, with your pale faces all in a row like sheep in a butcher's. My revenge is just begun. I spread it over centuries. You shall be my creatures, to do my bidding, and to be my jackals when I want to feed.
He's gone through the window! Stop him!
We cannot stop him. Only friend John to return. Through the shippers, the cartage men, we have traced each coffin to its hiding place. We have polluted each with the garlic flower and sanctified each with the holy crucifix. Now he only has Carfax. We will there catch him by daylight, helpless.
Unless Dr. Seward found him in his coffin in the Piccadilly house.
Unless. Otherwise, I could wish friend John would hurry. It grows late, and each night is a terror.
I am cold. I am not well.
What precautions can we take? Each must have the protecting crucifix. I place it to your forehead, Jonathan. And Mina, I touch it to yours. What?
Mina, don't be afraid. All he did was touch the cross to you.
Her forehead.
It's burned.
Look, Mina!
Not now, Swales, not now. Take care of it yourself. Van Helsing.
Burned.
Burned into her forehead. A brand.
Van Helsing, Jonathan, Mina.
Did you find him?
Only the coffins. I fixed them right enough, but then I went over to Carfax.
You should have waited. I, too, have a score to settle.
There were only 29. Somehow he has removed one. Sometime in the night. Now we have no way to trace him.
Escaping. He is escaping. Darkness. The smell of earth. Wagon wheels.
What is she saying?
I want to follow. I want to go.
What he's done to her, my lovely. The marks of a vampire on her poor throat.
We must all keep together, always. What is the story? When in life he abandoned to the slaughter his helpless people and fled home to try again.
He's going to a seaport, to go home, to start over.
Come, all of us. We must together go to make the last desperate fight against this monster.
Where to?
if necessary, to Transylvania, to Castle Dracula.
Dracula, in his coffin.
We've got him.
We must do this quickly. The sun is low.
What are you going to do?
Hush, Mina, darling. We've got him now.
I'm frightened.
Friend John, I think you especially have the right.
Know just what to do.
First, I must remind you all that this is not vengeance. We set to rest a human soul.
Whatever it is, I'm ready. If you want to pray for him, start praying. For me, every blow shall be for Lucy, and what he made me do at her tomb.
Oh, how his eyes burn with what ferocious rage out of the coffin.
Don't look at him! That was my mistake! Just do it!
Yes. Now the sun is lower, and soon it will be too late. Now, eternal rest give to him, O Lord. And let perpetual light shine upon him.
Jonathan! Oh, Jonathan!
Mina, darling, your forehead, your throat, the marks of the vampire are washed away.
Thank you to our wonderful performers, our brilliant production manager, Tori Perdue, our prolific composer, Chris Sanchez, the team at Platinum TDM, our fantastic hosts, Paul and Cindy Friedman of Dutch Creek Winery, and to you, our audience. We hope you enjoyed the show. Tune in next week for another Vintage Radio Hour from Shhh Productions. On Thursday, November 5th, we'll feature Tom Holliday, Nick Martin, Jackie Myers, Linda Dorff, Greg Hoffman, Chris Johnson, and a special guest performance in a spooky story about a seance that works. It's all fun and games until the vampire shows up. For the second part of our doubleheader, imagine what would happen if you put Rear Window, Gaslight, and Arsenic and Old Lace in a blender. You'll understand when you tune in to hear David Allen Vargo, Scott Douglas Wilson, Shannon Siegel, Bill Goldsmith, Kat Cryan, Eric Bobbitt, Dawn Farrell, and Todd Covert. Until then, shh.